Discord. Okay, this is the breakout room for Sue Liu from Shinsegae International. If you did not RSVP for this room, please leave the breakout room, not the meeting, and the host over there will take care of it. Also, we are taking attendance through screenshots. If you don't want your picture taken, please let me know. And if you don't say anything, we will take it as consent to your picture being taken. And thank you. So now Sue will take over and give us, bless us with her great tips.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I just said hello, but hello again. But still, like, Pogang, can I ask if everybody will be turned off or like, because I was told that their mic will be on so that they can like, you know, interact with me if they want.
Is it on? Is this on? In the end, it will be on.
Okay.
Is this working?
Okay. So I will share my screen. Okay. So is my screen sharing working? Okay, cool. So hi guys, I'm Sue Liu from China, now working in Shinsegae International in a cosmetic brand called Vita Vici. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, or like it's not like a big brand, but still like you can find it in a lot of places in Korea. So I'm working in IMC department in Vita Vici, which is integrated marketing communication. So I'll be briefly talking about the company that I'm working for. Wait, oh yeah. So this is a brief introduction, it doesn't matter. So Shinsegae International is under Shinsegae Group. It's a Tebor. So our company mainly focus on having our like fashion, living, and beauty brands in-house, and also SI Village is our e-commerce platform where we sell all the brands that we have in-house. And this is the brand I'm working for. We have two PR people. One is Wang Tailu from Taiwan, and another person is Song Ji-hyo. From some of you know her. And also, so what I do in Vita Vici, basically, as you guys can tell from the name of my department, Integrated Marketing Communications, I basically am in charge of overseas marketing for this brand, which is mainly mainland China and also some parts of we have duty-free shops in Singapore airport, and also duty-free shops in Thailand. So that would be my main focus. And my job is just to deliver all the messages that we want everybody else to know about our brand online and also offline. So I don't know, like I feel like my job is super personal. So I kind of want to mainly brief you guys about how I get the job instead of, you know, talking about the boring stuff that I do at work. And then we'll have 20 minutes of Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask me after my presentation. So I actually saw this job post on CDC website, and then I was not checking the website as often as I should have. So my roommate at the time, she knew that I had a passion for fashion, and then she saw the post and they're recruiting like foreigner MD, and then she reposted to me, just sent it to me, and I was like, oh, this seems to be a cool job to apply for, and then I did it. But I only noticed the post basically 5 hours before the deadline, like 6 p.m. the day. So I only had like 5 hours to fill out the online application form and also answer 3 questions that they asked, like why did you apply for our company and what was your like background and stuff. So it was kind of fast and furious. So I went through like 3, this is the first round, basically, you know, filling out the forms that they already have on their website. these are the questions. I don't know how many of you know Korean, but like the questions are super general. I guess no matter which company you apply for, you will have very similar ones. They ask your language proficiency, they ask your education background, they ask your work experience, if you have any, and also if you have any certificates and stuff. Super basic. Yeah. And these are like, I went through 3 rounds of interviews after the application period online. So first round was a 20 minutes of 2 versus me kind of interview, and also we had personality test, and then a group interview. Like we had 8 people to discuss, to debate basically on certain topic that we were assigned to on the spot. That was the first round of the interview. And second round, we had a presentation, 10-minute presentation. We were told the theme of the presentation 1 week before, and so that we had time to prepare. And then that was the second round of interview. And third round of interview were 임원 면접. I don't know how to translate it into English. Is it more like executive? They wanted the highest people of the group. They want to see like what kind of people you are. So I was interviewed with the applicants from other company as well. For example, Shinsegae INC, Shinsegae Home Shopping, Shinsegae like eMart, and all the subsidiaries of Shinsegae Group. So it was a huge interview. Like we had 400 people in total, as far as I can remember. And then after the third round of interview, we went through a 7-week internship before officially entering the company. So basically this page showed my journey. That was a 3-month journey, I guess 3 or 4 months journey that I went through. And what I really want to tell you guys about is the whole preparation time that I had from the application till the end of my internship, when I like officially entered the company. I got my TOEIC and TOPIK exams done basically around the same time, and then 3 rounds of interviews in KIIP program. I don't know like how many of you are Korean, how many of you are foreigners. If you're foreigners and you have plans to stay in Korea longer, so that there is one way to stay here like for a longer time, which is getting the F2 visa, the residency visa. And then this KIIP program basically teach you about Korean language and also social life, like everything about Korea. So this F2 visa is like a point system. If you can get over 80 points, you're like eligible to apply for this visa. And the KIIP program gave you 10 bonus points. So if you're interested in applying for F2 visa, I really recommend you to take a look at this program, the introduction, what it is about. And yeah, that was the program that I did. And then, yeah, it's very basic. So in terms of getting prepared, I think language is definitely one of the biggest things. As a foreigner, you need to prove that you have the efficiency to work in a professional environment, like especially Korean, because my company is Korean, and the whole like working environment is in Korean, and so they kind of expect you to be able to communicate super efficiently in Korean. But when I was entering the company, my Korean was so bad. I got TOPIK 6, but my spoken Korean was so bad, like nobody can understand me. So during the interviews, they were like, they could tell that I was having trouble, expressing myself in Korean. They were like, okay, so if you feel more comfortable in English, just do it. So I think I was lucky. And then after entering the company, I started to, pick up more professional Koreans, while communicating with people. So, but still, like before everything started, I think you can, like, language is definitely a very important part. And then visa wise, if you get a job offer and you're willing to take it before your graduation, it's fine. Like, you can just like transfer your visa from D2 student visa to F2 visa, like visa for residence. If you will have like a gap like after graduation and before getting employed, D10 visa is the visa that you want to go for. And the E7 visa was for working. And so job hunting, I know like it's super tricky. It was already like really hard before the COVID-19 thing. Now it's getting harder. So I guess there are some like good ways to, you know, to just focus on like the job hunting sites, like in Korea, Saramin, Job Planet, and also like CDC. I couldn't like emphasize this enough. It's really, really great source of information, job information, because there are tons of job informations out there, but you don't know like whether you're qualified for this position or not. But all those job posts that were posted on CDC, actually they want like foreigners, like mostly. They're interested in recruiting you, so you have a larger chance of you know, going through, at least going to the interview round, instead of just, you know, you fill out the application form and then no reply, no response at all. So I would say it's a great place to find a lot of job information, and also like ask your friends in other GSIS, because each school has different like, you know, job posting system, right? They have their own website. So just doing all those information share can just empower you, you know, like get yourself more information. It's all about that. And also, if you ever get a chance of being interviewed, just go for it. You know, get very well prepared, and you go. Maybe the job itself doesn't work out, but still, like it's all about accumulation of, you know. So, oh my God, I'm just doing it so quickly. I really want to get questions from you guys. So, Pogyang, are you here? Oh, it's already 15 minutes. So, yeah.
Oh, it works now. No, hold on. Sorry, my computer is really lagging.
No, it's fine.
Yes. So would you like to go on to the Q&A part?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yes. So do we have if you want, you guys can put it in the chat and I can read it, or I could ask some questions.
I have a question.
Yeah, please
hi.
go ahead.
Thanks for your presentation. It was really interesting. From your experience as a foreigner going through the interview process, do you have any recommendations for us foreigners that are probably going to be going through internship process soon? Like any advice? What would you suggest for us?
I think as a foreigner, it really depends on what kind of industry you want to work in. You want to work in public sector, you want to work in private sector. I can just like give you some advice according to my very personal experience. I would say if you are going to apply for a Korean company, the efforts that you've done to show to the interviewers that, you know, I've done great research of this company, I'm so interested, I really want to get the position. The attitude itself matters the most, I would say, like one of the most important factors, I would say. And also just be confident, like be super confident, like just show people that you know what you're talking about. And of course, it would be based on your knowledge of the company, of the industry, of the sector that you apply for. But confidence and also the attitude, like be humble, but at the same time be confident. I would say like those two are the most important ones. I don't know whether that answers questions. I know it's a bit general, but that's what I sincerely feel about like the whole job hunting process. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hello, I have three questions.
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. Um, the first question would be, what was your first major? And if it was different,
Oh,
your undergrad, and if it was different from your current position, which is marketing, and if it's different, how can it work? It can work to get a job or not? The first one. And the second one would be maybe you can give us a little bit more of detail of your current job, because you mentioned you were interested in fashion at the beginning. Maybe if you do something related to that. And the third question would be, um, uh, oh, what was the level of Korean required for the company? You got level 6, but maybe they require something less than that, or it was the level 6. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the amazing questions. I'm sorry I didn't do a good job in terms of introducing myself at the very beginning. So I graduated in February last year, 2019, and my major was ITFM in GSIS. And my background before that was my major was engineering in undergrad, like radio and TV engineering, but I was really not good at it, so I changed my major. You know, business is more interesting for sure. Yeah, basically engineer, and then ITFM, and then after graduation, I'm here. So that was the first question, right? That was the first question. Yeah, so like nothing in my background was related to marketing. And so second question was so my interest in fashion, and now I'm doing like what I'm doing. So the you know, the relation of the both. So yeah, I applied for the company because I was like, you know, I'm so ready for fashion industry. I really want to do this. But you know, like I entered the company via open recruitment, like 공채. I don't know whether you guys are familiar with the word. So basically, you're recruited by the group, and then once you enter the company, they will basically assign each of you to different brand, to different positions. I would say your personal will definitely plays a great role in terms of the assignation from the company, but like they would basically think, oh, if they think you're like a person for marketing, they would just assign you to marketing positions. If they think you will do good in cosmetics, then they will just do that. So my situation was kind of like that. I was super into fashion. My goal was to become like a merchandiser MD in fashion. You know, I'm so interested in textile and fashion in general. And I was even taking some courses outside of GSIS in my last semester in graduate school of clothing and textiles. So fashion theory, I took some courses in other schools. So those experiences were very, very interesting. But entering the company, they were like, oh, like you seem to be somebody who's super into fashion, super into cosmetics. And then because I'm Chinese, they were expecting to expand like a lot of brands in China. So like, what about doing marketing in cosmetic brands? And I was like, also sounds cool because I do love cosmetics myself. So it was not like, oh, like I hate it. I was assigned, I hate it. No, it's not like that. Yeah, like, was that the answer for the second question? Okay, so the third question was my Korean, like the Korean standard. So they didn't really ask my, like the topic paper, they didn't ask for it because everything was in Korean. If you couldn't do it, you just go. So I mean, on paper, like, because for the first round of interviews, we had 3 sessions. The first session was personality test. It was about 397 questions, and you have to answer them within 40 minutes. I mean, those questions were very easy questions for if you're like fluent Korean speakers, because like, oh, it's basically I'm ding 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 kind of person, you know. And then they would just like test your personality to see like whether you were lying or not, you know, using all those like tests online. And you can find a lot of those tests online. So I was so bad at that, and they gave me extra 10 minutes to like do that. So I was super grateful. And the second round was 2 versus 1. I had the head of HR and also like kind of another high person in HR department. They were like interviewing me for 20 minutes. And I had problem like expressing myself in Korean. Like my Korean was super bad, but they were just like super thoughtful, considerate. They were like, oh, just use English, like mix English and Korean together. And then the second round, I guess I did well, kind of like relatively well in my second interview, because it was a Korean, like a presentation in Korean. I practiced so much, and I had my like handouts ready like for 12 pages, and then just like I practiced a lot of times, and I think that kind of helped me. They were like, oh, this girl is really working on it, because her Korean was super bad, but after a month her Korean is getting better. So like they could see my performance growing. I guess that's where they gained confidence in me as a person and potential. Yeah, so like Korean, if you're applying for like a Korean company and they do not really have like a whole system for foreigner recruitment, they will just like invite you to the interviews. If you can go through the interview like without any problem, of course the Korean is perfect, right? Like there's no need of the paper. Yeah, I think that's my answer to the third question. Yeah.
Just as a follow-up, maybe, do you think that these kind of Korean companies are willing to give or kind of nurture the applicants to make it a better fit into the company rather than expecting applicants with full skills already?
So I was still like, I only can tell you according to my experience, right? But I think there is one good thing about Korean company, which is they don't expect you to know anything at the beginning. So like when you enter the company, you're like a rookie. They call it shinip. They just enter the company, right? And they will just like tell you everything. They will give you like educational materials. You will take courses, you know, to learn the company's history and all the brands and everything about the company. And once you started to do the internship and you're 선배, they will tell you everything. They're like, you know, even how to fill out this kind of form. And we have these systems in the company, and then they will tell you like step by step. So I think that was really, really nice to start with in terms of, you know, I know nothing, but I enter and everybody are expecting me to be a pro, like, which is not possible, right? So I think in Korean companies, they like 선배님, they will teach 후배. So the culture, this is definitely the brightest side of the culture. So I like it. If you were thinking of applying for Korean companies, I don't think you will have to worry about that kind of things. You just like pure attitude, you know, I'm going to learn everything. Like I'm going to learn everything super quickly. Don't worry. If you let them know that, you're just good to go. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the questions.
Okay, so we have about 14. Anybody else has questions?
Yeah, I had
Or
a
if we-
question.
Yeah, please go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah. Mhm.
So you mentioned you focus more on China, is that correct?
Yes.
So I'm assuming then when you work,
Yes.
a lot of it is dealt with in either Mandarin or English. And I was curious, like or because you're dealing with overseas markets, my question would be like, how often do you use Korean in the workplace? Because this is a Korean company after all. Like in terms of like the balance of like language use. Was if you speak Mandarin, was that a plus for you going in, or yes? So regarding language would be my question.
Yeah. Oh, sure. This is a good question. I actually, so like 99% of my colleagues are Korean. I would say like 99.9% of my colleagues are Korean, and I use Korean all the time. So like, cause of course I talk to like, you know, Chinese companies. I talk to just like a lot of people using Mandarin. English is like I don't use it that often because like when we talk to people from Singapore, people from Thailand, we might use it. But mostly when I talk to the Chinese companies, we use Mandarin mostly. But on a daily basis, because the people that I talk to the most are the colleagues around me, right? So we have meetings in Korean, everything was in Korean, and also the emails and also the materials that I have to write inside of the company system is Korean. So I would say 90% Korean and then 10% Chinese. Let's say, no, 85% Korean and 14% Mandarin and then 1% of English. That's the.
Isn't that, I mean, if it's like you say, because Korean is your second language, right? Isn't that sort of, like, in my mind, that's almost like an insurmountable barrier that, you know, it just seems incredibly difficult. If like 80% of your work is done in Korean, is it, was it, how difficult was it for you? Or was it like manageable? Was it like, is it still a constant barrier for you, or, you know, how difficult is it?
I think it was definitely super hard for me in the first year. Now I've been here for a year and 8 months. For the first year, it was super hard for me because my spoken Korean was so bad. Everything was in Korean apparently. But the thing is that they are like, people around me, they were super understanding. They understand me. They were like using English. Like when writing something, I would just like use the mix of Korean and English and people would understand me. But as time flies, you know, now I do feel comfortable in a professional setting using Korean. Like I can do, you know, presentations in Korean. You know, sometimes I have to introduce my, you know, the product that we have to the Korean companies as well. You know, this, of course, I do overseas marketing, but we still have to deal with local companies. You know, the agency, the advertisement agencies that we're using are Korean companies. So now I do feel comfortable. I think my professionally, my Korean is better, like than everyday life. So I think because I'm just used
so you
to
get
the
used to it over
cinema and
time,
everything.
right?
Yeah. Like it's a time issue. Like you'll definitely just grasp how to get by.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Besides language, did you find any other difficulty while working there?
Difficulty.
Or maybe challenge?
Yeah, I would say like culture as well. So I know like as a foreigner, people don't really have a lot of expectations towards you because they know you have tons to learn. But still, as time goes by, they would expect you to behave in certain ways. For example, if like we have 20 people right here in the meeting and then 19 of them are Koreans and I'm the only foreigner there, the way that I behave and also the way that I express myself was hiddenly expected to conform with the whole atmosphere in this room. So at the beginning, I didn't know. I was just like super bold. I was like, oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. And then there were higher people around me. They were like their faces just show like, well, what's this person doing? Like, oh my God, this is so weird. So now I get it. I can definitely this is a culture thing. And also, you know, people go for coffee after lunch, and sometimes the like relatively elderly ladies will talk about their kids. I didn't know how to react to that, but now I feel like, you know, I know their kids already. So a lot of things are interesting, like as you said, challenges and difficulties, but like after a year or two, you just get used to it because most of them are nice people. And yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
I have another question, but maybe it can be answered at the end when everyone else asks other questions before. It was just about the promotion part. When you are being promoted to another position, it also depends on the company's choice, or also you can somehow let them know your interest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So in terms of promotion, I think like each company definitely has their own system. But for us, in Shinsegae, I think like in the group, like in Shinsegae group as a whole, we have this bend system. So now when you enter the company, you're bend 4-2. That's what I like. I'm still a bend 4-2. And after 3 years, you will take exams and you will be interviewed again. You will take tests so that you can just get a promotion to bend 4-1. And then bend 3-1. Basically, you have to have certain amount of years to get a promotion. But in terms of if we're not talking about promotion itself, if we're talking about like the movement, among different departments, I would say like mostly it's a top to down kind of decision. But after making the decision from the company side, they will ask you, will you be okay to be in another department? If you say yes, of course, it's a win-win situation. If you said no, they will definitely consider your will. They will adjust their decision. So I think there is communication going on for sure, but I would say mostly it's a top-down kind of thing. Yeah. That's the situation in my company. I don't know like other Korean companies, but it's my experience. Yeah.
So as Theo said, we have about 5 minutes left. Does anyone else have any other question or any concerns they have?
Are you guys let me see. Do we have like at least 4 or 5 people from the GSA? I'm sorry, just curious.
I have a question actually.
Yeah,
What
go ahead.
courses have you took that helped you throughout like this whole process, or what courses that, because I know sometimes the interviewers, they're very specific on what courses you took and how you express your interests. So I was wondering what courses you might have taken.
I would say, because the courses in our school, I mean, a lot of them are good, right? But in terms of like really like which courses that have been helping me in my work environment, I would say not a lot. But among those, I think like strategic management, I don't know whether you guys still have the course or not. That one was one of the best courses that I took, because it gave you a lot of sense of business model, especially. So if you are really like you're lucky, or like you want to enter some like strategic department of any company, they can help a lot. They can really help a lot because they can help you to see things in a bigger picture. That's one thing. And also negotiation. Are you guys, do you guys still have the course? I think I love the course. I love the course. It was not like needy, it's not demanding, but still like you're just like you can just talk about anything in class. That's what I did. So I feel like in that kind of environment, I learned how to voice up in a professional like environment. Because I mean, it's a class, it's casual, semi-casual, semi-professional, but still like mostly when you guys talk, it's super casual, right? So I think that gave me like a good basically understanding of the professional environment, I guess. So that course definitely helped. And also I was thinking about the course. So there are 2 prerequisite courses among everything. One is RDM, the other is, what is the other? Coming to IMC team, I was in this overseas business department, so like dealing with a lot of data and stuff. So Excel is really important. So like the mind of knowing how to deal with both quantitative and qualitative data and materials, I think is kind of important as well. Yeah. But like seriously, knowledge-wise, I don't think a lot. Or maybe if you want to work in some like export-import kind of like trade with other like companies from other countries, like international trade law and free trade agreement, those two courses were one of my favorites as well. Two of my favorites. Yeah.
We still have them at GSIS, guys, so feel free to take them.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
We have 2 minutes if anybody would like to ask any other questions.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So you mentioned for the visa points, it will be good to go over like the KIP program.
KIIP program.
Yeah. So were you taking it like during the semester or during the break, or like can you please like give a little bit of details and how hard was it, or was it not, and such?
Okay, so I took it in the last month of my last semester in GSIS. I was doing a lot of things, like taking all those like language tests, and I was enrolled in this program, and I was doing it for 2 days on the weekends, like every weekend. So for months, because it was a 50-hour program. Like so basically, before entering the program, you need to take a test to see your Korean level. And then I got the highest level because everything was in writing. So like I was lucky. And then if you got the highest level, you will be assigned to level 5, which is the highest level. And then it requires you 50 hours of attendance. And then you take a test again. And then if you pass it, you get the 10 points. I would say like the course itself is super easy. Like you just sit there and learn about Korean histories and culture. And then, it gives you 10 like bonus points. So like before enrolling in this program, you probably want to see how many points you already have by the time you graduate. You probably already have like almost like 80. And then once you find a job, if your income, like annual income will be above certain level, and then you'll just get 80 points. You don't have to do it. There's a countdown.
Yes, thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you guys. Thank you.